Hi, this is Firestarter, and this is my review of the Super Robo Chogokin GokaiOH from Gokaigers. I tried to do this review a couple of times, but it doesn't really work. So I'm doing this one more time before I put this back end figure on my shelf to be with other figures that I have reviewed for the past year. And then we have here the box with the figure here in front, and some of the pictures and warnings that came on the box, or it was printed on the box. So, and at the back we have posabilities, and it says here some of the effects that came with the figure and posabilities, and also it works with the accessory that came with the Deca Ranger robe. I'm not gonna keep you waiting, and I'm gonna show you everything that's inside of this figure. Okay? The SRC GokaiOH has all the accessories that you need for all of the things that the robot does on the show. We have two swords, an effects part for the Gokai or Starburst, the actual cannon, 4 hands, 2 of them are holding and 2 of them are relaxed, and cannonballs that has tabs that you can place on the robot, and weird looking tab. What's supposed to be included on this set is the slash effect parts, mainly for the swords that are really evident so far on most of the SRC figures. Both just sit behind the blades, and they both doesn't deter much on the possibilities for GokaiOH. This poses no threat on weight distribution for both swords and for the figure. When not in use, you can always clip those swords beside the figure, which provides a nice touch for the whole set. To form the Gokai Starburst, just need to open those tabs on the arms and on the legs, and then insert the panels in, and don't forget the cannon and the effects part to complete the whole performance. Another great thing about the gimmick is that there are tabs or buttons at the back of the legs, so you can push the tabs out and it's easier for you to replace. And do you remember that Pat Striker that came with the Deca Ranger Robo? These parts are replacement for the Starburst mode to form the greater power of the Deca Ranger keys, known as the Deca GokaiOH. At first, it feels like this is a good addition to the whole slew of gimmicks that came with GokaiOH, but most of the parts doesn't feel right because first, the pistols are really small on GokaiOH, plus you can see the gaps on the legs, and overall it doesn't look really threatening if it were to challenge the Zangyaks. Unfortunately, this is the only combination that was allowed for the SRC toy line, and this gimmick wasn't made available on Magiranger, and I don't think it wouldn't have any other parts from other greater powers for future SRC figures. And this is the figure. Most of the articulation points would be, we have a really sturdy, clicky arm and arm joint. We have a single joint here on the elbow. Soling hand. We have a nice torso. It goes up and down so that you can have a nice ab articulation at the same time waist articulation. Bad thing about this is that the tab inside, or the I think this is a die cast part, it goes up together with the torso, so sometimes when you play with it, it does have or does leave a gap in between, and I'm not so sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but sometimes it does follow with the torso, just like that, and just jiggle the figure, it will go down naturally. And then we have nice articulation also on the leg, and we have a toe articulation and swivel on the leg for nice possibilities. And these parts here on the waist, we do have tabs also, or swivels also, so that you can do a lot of leg splits and whatnot. So that's the panels here in the front. So it exposes the die-cast ball joint and hinge, and then so we can do a lot of front kicks or roundhouses if you want to, but sometimes it goes down because of the weight of the die-cast shins here on the legs, or both pink and yellow parts for GokaiOH. And we have flipping shoulder pads, and then this part here on the head does have a hinge too, I'm not so sure why they included this, but it's really unnecessary because it doesn't pose a lot of gimmick really on, or adds drama to GokaiO. I'm not so sure why, but it's still there. And remember, I mentioned this tab here. It goes underneath GokaiO. And then I later found out that if you have a Tamashi stand, you can always plug the figure underneath here. See there? And then you can have him flying or doing a lot of slashing in the air poses if you want to. So I don't have a Tamashi stand right now, but I think you get the idea on how to leverage on that tab here on this piece to make GokaiO alive with other SRCs. So that's all the articulation points about GokaiO. Also, just to show you, the wheel at the back also turns just like what it does on the DX version. So that, I don't know, just to make it more lifelike, and at least there are no details unturned in comparison with the DX and the GokaiO in SRC form. As I've always said on the SRC line, this is a good alternative if you don't have the DX version of GokaiO. One of the reasons that you should be picking up this figure is because of the articulation points not found on the DX version, and this is also similar to your SH figure arts when it comes to posabilities. In terms of details, most of the parts and paint applications are really near to the show, and this is sturdy enough to pose on your shelf without overcrowding the rest of your collection. Even that being said, with good things about GokaiO, I'm not really digging the hand being on an angle because holding weapons really seem awkward, and there's nothing you can do to modify these to make it feel correct. Even the parts that came with the Deca Ranger Robo doesn't really help in making this figure look better or even increase the ante against the DX version. If I were to choose when it comes to detailing, I would really choose the DX version, but since I really do dig the posabilities for this figure and I still don't have a DX version of the DX GokaiO, this will really suit on my collection because I really don't have a lot of big robos except for my Transformers, and this wouldn't clutter really a lot when displayed on my shelf. So this is my review of the SRC GokaiO. If you want to know the possibilities for this figure, always check out the photos at the end of the video. And that's the end of my review. This is Firestarter. Thank you very much for watching, and see you on my next review.